As Christian writers, we've all heard that golden rule in author business. Start your email list and grow it. It's repeated like gospel truth in every writing conference and author course. And while that advice is absolutely true, there's often something crucial missing from this conversation. We're often taught to view our email list as something that serves us and our book sales. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if your email list isn't primarily about marketing at all? In this episode, I'm sharing a game-changing mind shift that completely transformed how I approach my email list. And it will do the same for you. I'll walk you through 7 practical principles, all rooted in scripture, that have helped me create newsletters my readers genuinely look forward to opening. You'll discover exactly how I've boosted my open rates, gotten more responses from readers, and built the kind of authentic relationships that naturally lead to loyal fans who buy your books again and again. If you've been struggling with email marketing and feeling like something's been off in your approach, this episode is going to help you align your author business with God's heart for service. So grab your coffee, open your heart, and let's talk about email marketing God's way. This is episode 24. I'm Ursilia Teixeira, ex-real estate agent turned award-winning Christian fiction author. When I wrote my first novel on a bucket list whim, I had no idea it would spark a spiritual journey that would redefine my calling. But you know what, friend? Self-publishing wasn't easy. I got caught in the hustle, chasing rankings and sales while desperately trying to stay rooted in Christ. Now, by God's grace, I'm building my author business His way, and now He's called me to help you do the same. Welcome to the Anointed Scribe podcast, where faith meets business for Christian writers. Let's write, publish, and grow our author business God's way. Are you ready? Well, then let's get started. Hey, it's your author friend, Ursilia, and welcome back to the Anointed Scribe podcast, where we build thriving author businesses God's way, right? As always, I am deeply grateful that you've set aside this time in your busy day to listen in today, friend. Whether you're juggling multiple tasks or sitting down with your journal, my hope is today's episode will challenge your thinking, empower you to step forward with confidence, and equip you in creating an author business that is fully aligned with God's plan for you and your writing. If you're a regular listener, I just want to take a second to say thank you for including me in your author journey. I am humbled and privileged to be God's vessel, and I'm excited to see what He's going to do in your business. I treasure our connection, so please keep reaching out with your thoughts and questions. Never feel silly that you make contact with me or send me messages. I love getting them. And for those joining us for the first time today, a warm welcome to the Anointed Scribe tribe. I'm delighted you've discovered this community, which I know is not by accident, but by divine purpose. So welcome, friend. Don't forget to subscribe or follow so you'll always be notified of new episodes. You never know which episode might deliver that key strategy, breakthrough moment, or gentle encouragement you've been praying for, right? Okay, so let's get the show on the road, friend, because today we are diving into something that's often taught as the golden rule of author business. But I'd like to offer a shift in perspective that the Holy Spirit revealed to me some time back when I was fussing over my email list and newsletters. Now, before you start thinking this is just another typical marketing lecture, let me assure you, we're approaching this from a completely different angle today, one that aligns with our values as faith-focused authors. Yes, Today we're talking about email marketing, but it's probably not going to be in the way you might expect. If you've been in the author world for any length of time, or you're new, you've probably heard any or all of these statements 1,000 times. Statements like, the money is in the list, or your email list is your most valuable asset. Start your email list yesterday. Grow your email list. Sound familiar? And you know what? These are all 100% correct. There's absolute truth to this, that you have to start your email list. When social media platforms change their algorithms, or when Amazon shifts its policies, or when the next big tech disruption happens, because they do, your email list will remain. It's the one marketing channel you actually own. But here's how the Lord gently corrected my perspective, though. We often approach email marketing with a mindset of what it can do for us, right? How it can help us sell more books, reach more readers, build our author platform. But what if there was a verse in the Bible that teaches us otherwise, that flips this perspective entirely? Well, friend, spoiler, there is. In Philippians 2, verse 3 to 4, Paul writes this: Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others. Now, if that verse doesn't flip this upside down, then I don't know what does. Write that verse down, friend, and go back to it later, because you're going to want to meditate on it and take it all in. See, what this verse says to us as Christian authors is that this valuable asset, your email list, isn't about you and your book sales at all. Yes, you heard right. Your email list is actually about serving your readers, about making them feel seen, valued, and ministered to. I want you to think about Jesus for a moment. His ministry wasn't about building a platform for himself. It was about meeting people where they were, addressing their deepest needs, and pointing them toward truth and life. In John 13, we see Jesus washing his disciples' feet, an act of humble service that demonstrated true leadership. He then tells them in verse 15, I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. Now, if we apply this verse to our author business, because that is who we are as Christian authors, we go to the Bible, we take the teachings, we take the verses, we take Jesus' example, and we apply it to our author business, right? So if we apply this verse to our author business, how might this servant leadership approach transform our email marketing? Let me share a shift in thinking that's been revolutionary for me. Instead of seeing my email list as a means to sell books, I've started seeing it as a ministry opportunity, a chance to serve my readers faithfully, to add value to their lives, and to be a consistent presence offering encouragement, wisdom, and spiritual nourishment. Proverbs 11:25 tells us, a generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. When we approach our email list with generosity, rather than constantly asking what we can get from our subscribers, something beautiful happens, friend. I found that when I focus on truly serving my readers, providing content that enriches their lives, praying for them, responding to their needs, the sales actually follow naturally. It's the kingdom principle of sowing and reaping. But more importantly, I'm able to sleep well at night knowing I'm approaching my author business with integrity and a heart to serve while walking out my calling and mission to spread the good news. And you know what else happens naturally? Your readers will reply to those emails, which not only blesses you, but it also provides valuable email engagement signals that improve your email deliverability. But a word of caution here, though, because you do not want to use your ministry as leverage to improve your email stats, right? Make sure your heart is kingdom focused and not self focused, okay? Also, I'm not saying we shouldn't ever mention our books or products in our emails. That's not what I'm saying, because that would be poor stewardship of the work God has called us to create. But when selling becomes secondary to serving, I believe we are operating more in line with how Jesus would run an author business. So let's get practical. How do we shift from a self-serving email strategy to one that truly ministers to our readers and gets our book sold? I've got 7 principles I practice in my author business, and so today I'd like to share them with you. So, get your notepad out and start writing. Principle number 1. Know your readers as people, not just subscribers. Remember how Jesus knew Zacchaeus by name before he even came down from that sycamore tree? In Luke 19, Jesus demonstrated the power of seeing someone, really seeing them, when others just saw a sinner or a tax collector. Take time to understand who your readers are, what they are struggling with, what they are celebrating, what questions keep them up at night. Send surveys, invite replies, read and respond to their comments on social media. Pray for discernment to see their needs clearly. It's not only going to help you write better emails to them, help you sell more books, it's actually going to help you get to know who your reader is so that you can market better. I remember getting an email from a reader once who shared how she was going through chemotherapy and how reading one of my books not only distracted her, but also encouraged her. That email changed how I wrote my next newsletter, friend. I addressed my readers as people going through seasons of hardship, navigating pain, heartache, and all the human struggles we have to endure here on earth. They are not just people that we don't know, or bodies or souls on the other side of the email list that need to go and buy your books. They are people with real struggles like you and me. And you know what? The response to this was overwhelming because people felt seen. They were no longer just readers. We were connected. There was this connection that only happened with one thing in common, and that's God, our faith. Okay, principle number 2. Give abundantly without expectation. Now, this is a heart posture thing as well. In Acts 20, verse 35, Paul reminds us of Jesus' words. It says this: "It is more blessed to give than to receive." My husband has this thing he's been saying for years now. He always says, giving starts the receiving process. And it's true. It's in Acts 20, verse 35. It is more blessed to give than to receive. This applies powerfully to our email marketing and really everything we do as author entrepreneurs. For every promotional email you send, consider sending 3 to 5 emails that simply give value. Encouragement, teaching, resources, prayers. Make your newsletter something people look forward to receiving because they know it will enrich their lives, not just ask for another purchase. I've found that sharing free books, devotionals, or even just transparent updates about my own struggles and victories as a Christian writer creates a bond with readers that goes beyond the transactional. Principle number 3, be authentic. In 2 Corinthians 1 verse 12, Paul writes about conducting himself in the world with simplicity and godly sincerity, not by earthly wisdom, but by the grace of God. Your readers don't need another slick corporate email. They are bombarded with those. They want to connect with a real you, the person God is using to write the words that touch their hearts, the person they are literally buying into. This doesn't mean sharing every detail of your life, but it does mean being honest, being human, and letting your personality and Christ identity shine through. Share your struggles along with your victories. Let them see your growth process. Let them see your failures. One of my most engaged emails was when I shared how I'd gotten completely stuck in my writing life and how God used that crossway to teach me patience and dependence on Him. I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I was just being real, and my readers responded to that authenticity. But be careful. You don't want every email to be a moan and a groan lamenting, okay? Well, you want to always bring God glory. You want to always elevate, show your struggle, but show how God rescued you or transformed you in that struggle, right? Principle number 4, be consistent in your communication. In Matthew 5, verse 37, Jesus teaches, let your yes be yes and your no, no. There's power in reliability and keeping your word. If you tell your subscribers you'll email weekly, show up weekly. If you promise a monthly newsletter, make sure it arrives each month. Better yet, do it on a set day or of the week or a set time of the month. Consistency builds trust, and trust is the foundation of any meaningful relationship. This does not mean you need to email daily or even weekly if that's not sustainable for you. It's better to promise less and deliver consistently than to promise more and disappear for months at a time. I have a simple calendar system that helps me stay consistent, and I batch write newsletters 1 month ahead, planning them out alongside my writing calendar or my promotion calendar. Or when I'm feeling particularly inspired, I batch write. So I have content ready for busier seasons. It's easy then to schedule these emails to auto-deliver on your newsletter sending days. You can also free up time by creating your newsletter template and then just plug in the batched content. Readers also like the consistency in your newsletter format, so pay attention to that one too, okay? Okay, the next one is super important. Principle number 5, respect the sacred trust of an email address. Proverbs 22 verse 1 tells us, a good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver or gold. When someone gives you their email address, they're extending trust to you. Honor that trust. What does this mean? Never sell or share your email addresses. Don't bombard them with endless promotions. Make it easy for them to unsubscribe if they choose to. Make clear about what they can expect. Make it clear what they can expect from you. I once received an email from an author whose list I'd joined years ago and forgotten about it. The email was selling a product completely unrelated to their books or writing. It felt like a violation of trust. I was annoyed and I immediately unsubscribed. Don't be that author, okay? Principle number 6, pray over your email list. Now, this might sound strange to some, but I've made it a practice to pray over my email list regularly. I pray for the people who will receive my words, whether my readers or you, my anointed scribes, that God would use me and my words to encourage, equip, or challenge as needed. I also pray that my emails would arrive at just the right time for whoever needs them most. There's something to be said about God's timing, and why wouldn't you want to be used in that? In Colossians 4, verse 3 to 4, Paul asks for prayer. He says this, And pray for us too, that God may open a door for our message so that we may proclaim the mystery of Christ, for which I am in chains. Pray that I may proclaim it clearly as I should. Isn't that a beautiful prayer to apply to our author business? What if we approached our email newsletters with the same prayerful intentionality? What if we invited God into the process of our communication? I've had too many, in air quotes, coincidences after praying over my emails to believe it doesn't matter. Readers reply saying, "How did you know I needed exactly this today?" The answer is simple. I didn't know, but God did. And isn't that just the most awesome privilege we have as writers? To be vessels used by God in this way? Principle number 7, remember the ministry in your marketing. Finally, let's remember that for Christian readers, there's no real separation between their reading experiences and their spiritual growth. Every book they pick up can become a meaningful part of their faith journey to hear God's voice, without oftentimes even realizing they need to hear it. In 1 Corinthians 10 verse 31, Paul reminds us, "So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God." Your email list is not just a marketing tool, friend. It's a ministry opportunity. Each message you send has the potential to bring light, hope, encouragement, or challenge to someone who needs it. That's a sacred responsibility. When I reframed my thinking this way, email marketing stopped feeling like a necessary evil and started feeling like a privilege. I'm invited into my readers' inboxes, often one of the most personal digital spaces they have. What an honor to be there, right? Okay, now let's get into being super practical. What does all this actually look like in action? Let me share some tangible tips and tools to help you implement these principles. Are you ready? Practical tip number 1. Start with a welcome sequence that serves, not just a welcome sequence, one that serves. When someone joins your email list, don't immediately jump to selling. Create a 3 to 5 email welcome sequence. For example, create an email that thanks them personally for joining, or nothing else, just thanks them personally for joining, or helps them get to know you, your testimony, your writing journey, the person behind the words. How about one that provides immediate value, a free book, a promo, or even a devotional? And then why not one that asks questions to learn about them? One that sets clear expectations about what they'll receive from you, what can they expect? All these emails build relationships from day one and establishes that you are there to give, not just take. You know what I mean? Okay. Practical tip number 2. Use a reliable email service provider. This is crucial. Technical reliability matters when you are building trust. Services like MailerLite, ConvertKit, or Flowdesk make it easy to send professional emails consistently. Most have free tiers until you reach a certain number of subscribers. These services also help you segment your list so you can send more relevant content to different groups of readers. Another way of showing that you see them as individuals, not just as a mass audience. Now, I use Flowdesk for my own author business, and I honestly can't recommend it enough. What makes it stand out is that there are stunning professionally designed templates that make your emails look beautiful with minimal effort, saving you time. And a big bonus is that it integrates seamlessly with BookFunnel for delivering your reader magnets or participating in promos. And unlike most email providers that charge more as your list grows, Flowdesk offers a simple flat fee of $38 per month regardless of how many subscribers you have. Now, that alone is worth gold because it means your email costs stay predictable even as God blesses your ministry with growth. Anyway, I just love them. And as a Christian business owner who wants to steward my money well, I have found it to be such a blessing in my own email ministry. And I think you will too. So if you're interested in trying Flowdesk, I've included my referral link in the show notes, which will give you a whopping 50% off your first year of a paid subscription, friend, which is an incredible value for what you receive. Okay, so moving on to practical tip number, what are we on? 3. Make technology serve your ministry, not vice versa. Don't get so caught up in fancy email tactics that you lose the personal touch, though. You don't need complex automations and segmentations when you're starting out. A heartfelt, value-filled email sent consistently will outperform a technically perfect but soulless marketing sequence every time. Start simple. Add complexity only as it serves your ability to better minister to your readers. As you grow, you will learn the tactics to segment and speak to them in groups. Practical tip number 4. Invite interaction and engagement. End emails with thoughtful questions. Invite replies. Consider including occasional surveys to better understand your readers' needs. In James 1 verse 19, we are reminded to be quick to listen and slow to speak. Apply this wisdom to your email marketing by creating opportunities to listen to your subscribers. Some of my best newsletter ideas and book ideas have come directly from reader responses. When someone takes the time to reply to your email, treasure that connection and respond personally when possible. Some weeks, I don't have a chance to always respond individually. However, I will leave a Saturday morning or afternoon and I will just tackle that email list and reply to all of them um, and work my way down the email list. And sometimes it's a lot. But if you diligently do that, it's part of you serving your email list. You don't want to ask a question, get an answer back, and be rude and not answer, right? And my last and final practical tip on how to use email marketing to serve your readers rather than to sell more books is number 5. Track what resonates, but don't be ruled by metrics. Yes, open rates and click rates matter as indicators of whether your content is serving your readers well. But don't become so obsessed with metrics at the expense of your ministry. Sometimes your most important email will be the one that only deeply touches one person who really needed it at that time on that day. That won't show up on your analytics, friend, but it matters eternally. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with this thought. Your email list is not just a list of potential customers, potential readers. It's a gathering of souls whom God has somehow connected to you and your words, your unique calling, to your unique book. What an incredible responsibility and privilege. When Jesus fed the 5,000 in Mark 6, he didn't just throw food out into the crowd. The disciples distributed it personally, seeing each person. What if we approached our email lists with the same care, seeing each subscriber as a person to be served, not just a potential sale, making sure no one gets overlooked or forgotten? So, friend, my challenge to you today is to take some time to pray over your email list. If you don't have one started yet, pray about beginning one with this servant-minded perspective. Ask God to show you how you can use this tool, not just to build your author business, but to genuinely minister to the readers He is entrusting to you. Hear that? God is trusting us to take care of His flock. That's a huge responsibility that we should not take lightly. Email marketing done with consistency and a heart to serve is doing good in your author ministry. It is you being faithful so that the harvest, whether that's book sales, impact, or changing lives, will come in God's timing. So go out there today, friend, and sow generously into your readers. And if you found this episode helpful, please let me know by leaving a review. Not only does it brighten my day, it also lets me know how to better serve you in your author journey. As fellow authors, you understand the tremendous difference your review makes to the reach of this podcast, so please do consider helping me out here. I'd really like to get this podcast out to as many of you as humanly possible. So thank you in advance for helping me in my mission that God has called me to. So until next time, may your words be anointed, your heart be aligned with His, and your author business grow in a way that brings glory to our God. Because for such a time as this, friend, you have been called to thrive as God's anointed scribe. Friend, thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Anointed Scribe podcast. I would love to know what resonated most with you today, so do let me know by leaving a review in the show description, please. And if you want more biblical strategies and spirit-led wisdom on how to build your author business God's way, make sure you like or subscribe to the show so you can get regular updates of all the new episodes the moment they drop. Then head on over to anointedscribe.com for today's show notes and a link to sign up to my newsletter, which will also give you free access to all the resources I personally use to help me in my writing life. If you want to continue discussions on today's episode or just want to connect with me directly, I love if you join the Anointed Scribe tribe. You'll find the link to my private Facebook group in the show description. So friend, I hope that you are leaving feeling inspired, encouraged, and on fire to step boldly into your calling as a writer, chosen and set apart to fulfill a unique purpose in God's plan. I look forward to our next episode together. And remember, for such a time as this, you have been called to thrive as God's anointed scribe.